What you are listening to now is our girls golf report, featuring today the Western Panthers girls golf team. I was hoping to do a different high school sports report every day in the fall, and I just realized that I can't do it myself. So I am looking for experts, insiders, or even better, a co-host who is an expert and insider to help me with volleyball, soccer, cross country, golf, tennis, wrestling, swimming, baseball, softball, track and field, bowling, gymnastics. If this interests you, I would like to work with you and do a daily podcast on that sport in Central Indiana. So please text me at 502-533-3161. Please don't call. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome, golf fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, joined today by the Western Panthers girls golf team. I'm joined by, of course, Coach Elizabeth Tolle, and to the left of me is Kenzie Creason. Across from me is Analise Dixon, and to my right is Grace Williams, all three juniors, correct?
Yes.
All right. And, Coach, how did it go tonight?
Good. We actually won by one stroke, so beat a good Rochester team tonight. These guys have beat us fairly handily in most of the 18-holers, and we see them. We haven't been paired with them, but we see them often at our 18-hole matches. So they're a good team. They had a couple girls that struggled tonight, and happens to all of us. So to get them by one stroke was a really good win for us tonight.
And how did you feel like your team performed?
Great. We were all in the 40s, which I'll take any night of the week. When the score you drop is still in the 40s, that's a good night for us. And we're still young. We're improving. Going into the sectional next week, shooting a 187. That's the best 9-hole score that we've had. Our battleground score on Saturday, which is a regional setup at Battleground, which mimics the regional yardage, about 5,300 yards, and we shot again, about 17 strokes better than we did this time last year. So,
nice.
I'm real pleased with the improvement. I don't think sometimes when you're in the eye of the storm like these girls are, sometimes you can't see it. But when I look at the numbers on paper, we're getting better every week. So,
please introduce me to your three juniors here and tell me a little bit about them. We'll start with Kenzie, who I've noticed her scores have been really good lately. And Saturday she had an exceptionally good round.
Yes, Kenzie's playing some good golf right now. She's, I think, got some things with her swing figured out and made some club adjustments on the course management, which we preach about. That staying in the fairway is much more important than distance, especially on our course because it's not a real long course. So staying out of trouble is huge. And Kenzie's put her two personal best scores back to back, and still a little frustrated with herself in the meantime. So she's plugging away. She's put in some extra time after practices. I see her with bags of range balls going out after practice a lot and playing extra rounds on the weekends and stuff like that. So I'm glad to see that her scores are reflecting that.
I want to know if she can sing.
She got it.
I don't know what
song.
You got it.
We were trying to harmonize before the podcast.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Yeah, we don't know any of the same songs.
She doesn't know any Muppet songs.
Oh, man,
Never seen
you're missing
Muppets.
out.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mana.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do. Everybody. Mana.
I don't know.
Kenzie, tell me what it is you like about golf and why you're out here putting in extra work trying to improve.
I like the team. They're my BFFs. I love them. They're funny sometimes. Except for Maddie. Maddie Williams, she's a sophomore. She's really mean to me sometimes, but I still love her, I guess. I've been practicing because I want to make my mom proud and I want to be better. So just been putting in that work.
High school golf is a team sport as well as an individual sport. Which one do you like best?
Probably the team sport, because then, like, if the team plays well, I don't have to be so hard on myself. But also, if I don't play well, then I feel like I'm letting the team down. So.
But after the podcast, we're gonna figure out a song that we both know, and we're gonna sing. Because I asked which one was the singer, see if someone would sing me an introduction, and everybody pointed to you.
Banner is always an option.
Oh yeah.
But then we have to stand up, and
yeah.
everyone has
Be
to
too
stop
formal.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, please introduce us to Analise.
Analise plays in our 2 spot, and she's one of our really consistent golfers. I can count on her for a consistent score. She's had, we play 7-18s, and so when Steve Hoppus set up this schedule long time ago, he set it up for that reason, to have good competition. Western's got a state championship under their belt back in early 2000s, and so from then on, that schedule has been grueling, and it is. We play 7-18s, and I've looked up some of the other schools around the area, and the Hamilton County schools obviously play that, but there's not a lot of schools around here that play 7-18, so it's tough. But Analise has proven to me that she can put some consistent scores together. She's had a 96 and a 99, which her personal best, correct, for 18. Were they your personal best this year or your personal best overall?
What was it?
96 and 99. Are those your personal
96.
best?
Yeah.
For 18. So again, this year, coming in as a junior, she's capable of doing that, and especially on this course, we host the sectional at our course. One of the reasons we played the back today, they don't get to play the back all that often, so it's good for them to get some experience on the back with competition.
All right, Annalise, tell me about this team and what, not as like competitors, but personality-wise, what's this team like?
We're all like sisters. We do everything together, basically. We spend every single day together, every weekend. We try to do team bondings, which we need to do. We have very unique.
What do you do when you do team
Best
bondings?
trips have been better. Best trips have been a little bit more team bonding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a fun team then?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't give the world for this.
Yeah.
Nice. And you got another full year to do it too.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what's your personal goal? Do you have like a score or something that you're aiming for?
For my 18 holes, I try to aim for under 95, which I know I could do it, but I get in my head a lot. Yeah. And for my 9 holes, it's under 40, which my best is 42. So
It's in there.
yeah.
It's in there. It'll happen.
All right, Coach. And Grace has been your number 1 player last year and this year at least. Yep. And we know her name from the past couple of years and the performance she's had. Please introduce us to Grace and tell us what she's like and her golf game.
Yep. Grace has, like you said, been my number 1 for 2 years, and as hard as she is on herself, she is my Annalise is a consistent golfer, and so is Grace. Grace is my most from looking at scores is my most consistent golfer. So she's put together an 87 this year, which at the Chippendale Invite. So to do that for 18 on this course, I don't think she realizes how difficult that is to do. There's a lot of OB here. There's a lot of lateral here. You've got to really know how to manage a golf course to get a good score here. And, we saw that tonight with Rochester struggling with a couple of their players, struggling with the OB and the lateral penalties. You've got to manage a course. You've got to manage clubs out here. And if you don't, you're not going to score. You're not going to have a good score. And so, again, we play a lot of courses that are like Chippendale, Oak Grove, Round Barn, for that reason, so that we can get other courses in the experience that have a lot of trouble. So Grace manages the course really well. And, she, like I said, she gets frustrated at herself, but when I look at scores, I'm like, man, it's just, I can count on a consistent score for her week in and week out. And I know coming up here in the next couple weeks, she's going to put some good scores together and give us a shot at winning sectional.
Well, that leads right into my next question, Grace. What are the team goals for your team this year?
Our team goal is definitely to win sectional this year. That's been our goal from last year too. We have a really good chance, especially from today, of us all hitting in the 40s. It's definitely doable for all of us to get in the 90s for sectional.
Between now and then, what is there a meet or anything that you're looking most forward to?
I don't know. I think sectional is the main one I'm looking forward to, because that's our big one, and that's definitely the most doable.
All right, ladies, before I let you go and I talk to Coach Tolle for just a second, just want to thank you so much for being on the podcast and ask you, what do you think it's going to take from you to achieve that?
I think I need to work on some putting, probably. That was my main struggle today, because I just keep barely missing. So I need to do some putting drills and probably just keep going to the range and practicing.
Coach, I don't think I've ever met a golfer who was happy with their round afterwards, because there's always 2 or 3 strokes that you could have had, and those are the ones you're always thinking about, right?
Yeah, and I think we all do that. I mean, I do that, as a golfer myself. I'm constantly looking at the strokes that I lost or, could have had. And so I think it's natural to do that.
Yeah.
There's a happy medium, and I think the girls are still learning that. There's a happy medium between being hard on yourself but not too hard on yourself, just trying to keep that even keel. We talk a lot about bouncing back from a double or a triple. What's your mindset when you go from making a triple to your next hole, and so that's super important. Or lipping out a putt. We all do it, and we all have days that we struggle, and just relying on your team and knowing that sometimes your team can have your back on a bad round, even if you're the best golfer, or sometimes your 5 can pick you up and have a good round and keep that team score at bay. And as I look through our team scores, I'm like, I can't have a lot of complaints, because we just keep getting better. And so, it's easy to be, I think naturally golfers are perfectionists, and type A personalities. And
it's just that kind of sport too.
Yeah, all these girls
really
are,
is.
Academically driven. So they're used to, A's or A's and B's. Okay, A's and B's. And so, it's hard to have the reality that golf is a very humbling sport, and as soon as you think you have something going, it can go by the wayside pretty quick. So just that maturity and growing in that, we're getting there. They've come a long way. They've come a long way.
Grace, I asked Analise this question. I didn't ask you. What are your personal goals for the season?
My personal goals for this season is definitely to be able to hit in around 85 for 18 holes, and then hit in the around 40 for a 9-hole round, but also mentally get better at for everything. Be more confident, have more positive, be like Miss Tolle said, to bounce back from the bad holes. And that's my main goal, honestly, right now, is to get my mental attitude back in check.
All right, ladies, thank you so much. I'm going to have a couple more questions for Coach Tolle. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Girls, nice job. Very well spoken. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Definitely. All right, Coach, tell me about the other golfers on your team.
Yeah, we have 10 golfers in total, and so real happy with those numbers. I wish I had an assistant coach so I could, throw those girls into some JV matches, but right now I'm working on that. But right now my I'm trying to think here. My number 3 is Ava Rowe. Again, super good athlete. She's my wrestler / golfer,
That's right.
which is
we
an
knew
odd
that
combination. Yeah, an odd combination. But she is just an athlete, and sometimes I have to tell her to not swing like a wrestler. I quit swinging like a wrestler because she's just powerful.
That is one of the most odd combinations I've
Yeah,
ever.
and I've kind of got her back from just swinging as hard as she possibly can. I'd honestly like to take the driver out of her hand a little bit around this course. It's hard to talk her into it because when she hits a drive, it's one of the most beautiful drives I've seen, and she's long, but still working out some of those control issues. So Ava can put together some good rounds, but she struggles staying on the course sometimes, and so she's just kind of got to learn that management. And that everything isn't an advantage if you're long, especially on this course. So, but she puts together some really good scores. She put together a 49 tonight. She's had a 46, but she's come a long way as a sophomore. And then Maddie Williams is also a sophomore for me. Plays our 5. She shot a 49 tonight, which is her best 9 of the season. So super proud
Related
of her.
to Grace?
Yes, she's Grace's younger sister. So we keep them as far apart as we at the 1 and the 5. That seems to be, where they, no, I'm kidding. But they, Maddie's always got a great attitude. She's got a smile on her face. She doesn't, she takes golf a lot more serious than she wants to claim, but she's always kind of not taking it so serious that she gets in her head and that sort of thing. So she's always a consistent, plays the consistent mental game as well as anybody on my team. And then I've got 5 other girls, Kim Williams, that not related, but she has come a long way. She's my 6 and puts together some good scores. And I've got Addison Smith, Lexi Brewer, Hayden, and Olivia Taylor. So those 4, Addison and Lexi, again, are beginners. But, Addison and Kim played middle school golf. Lexi just joined us about a week after the season started, and they've come a long way. I think they're going to do a lot for us in the future.
I asked your players about the personality of this team. How does this team compare to other teams, and what's this one like?
Well, it's really pretty close to, it is the same team.
Right.
Other than Abby and Desaya Bender were my seniors last year. It is really the same team, and to see them mature, and the expectations have gotten higher this year. So therein lies the frustration a lot of times because their expectations are higher, and sometimes their scores aren't what they think they should be. So I love seeing that they want to be better, and that they work at being better. But they're just they have a great Thank you. They have a great personality. They're a pretty social group, which you don't always get with golfers. That personality, they're pretty social. So sometimes I gotta, refocus them at practice and say, okay, let's not be talking while we're swinging, like those kinds of things. Sometimes they have to be refocused on practice because they are so social. But they're super involved at school, which I love. They're involved in all kinds of activities. I've got, like I said, dual sport. Most of them play at least one other sport. I've got one. Kenzie's a cheerleader. Analise is a swimmer. Grace plays tennis as well. So they're involved in school. They're in leadership activities. So overall, they're great kids, and I'm just super proud to be able to coach them.
Last question. They talked about winning the sectional. You think that's attainable? Oh,
absolutely. I told them last year we got edged out. Prue had a really good score. Had a really good their 3 golfer. She had a really good day, and we got edged out to go to the regionals last year to get 3rd. And I told him last year, Grace went on as an individual, and I sat there last year with our team, and I said, I'm looking at scores, and I'm looking who's graduated, and we have a chance to win next year. And so I truly believe that. Now, we got to put together a good 18-hole as a team. It's not, out of the question, but it's not certainly a given. They've got to put in the work. And so, I think based on scores that I've seen, we 100% have a chance of winning it. I think we have a really good chance of moving on to the regional as a team, and I told them I would love that to be their goal. that we don't just have an individual, but we have an entire team going to Battleground. There's a reason we go play the regional setup, last Saturday at 5,300 yards. It's no joke there. I mean, it's a hard course to play. All the best teams in the state will be there. And I told him I'd love to win sectional and be in the top half of the regional. Moving on from there is probably not attainable. You got Zionsville and Carmel and Westfield, and you got all those guys there. That's realistically, it's not attainable. But being in the top half, I would love to be able to do that. So I think they know that in the back of their head, and if they can keep an even keel and not get too in their head over it and just go play golf, I think we have a really good shot.
You believe it's almost here?
I know. It's a quick season. I mean, it's 6
Probably
weeks.
Probably the quickest of all of them.
Yeah, it's 6 weeks and 7 weeks if you play the regional, and it is a whirlwind, and to try to keep them all focused and, when you're in it and you're playing golf and you're hitting some bad golf shots, it's real easy to think, especially when, we were paired with Westfield. We get paired with Zionsville the very first 18 of the year.
Wow.
And so they go out and shoot a 286
Yes,
the
they
first
did.
18 of the year, and my golfers are going, we're not very good. And, I'm like, our sectional is not one of the top sectionals as far as scores. I'm not going to pretend that it is. But I'm like, I don't care. If you're a sectional champion, you're a sectional champion. Period, end of story. You get to go to the regional. So, we got to look at it that way. And I think sometimes when we're paired, this weekend we were paired with Westfield and Guerin Catholic. That's a tough matchup. And so they're longer drivers than we are. So it makes you just, question your game. And I just keep telling them, stay in the fairway, hit the greens, and try to two-putt as much as you can. And that's all we can do. And, our score showed that we were better. We were better than we were last year. And we just got to focus on us and not worry about who we're paired with and what they're going to do. Because, honestly, they're out of our league. And with good reason. They have the numbers to have those girls, and they have the swing coaches and the, they have all the things,
The means.
all the things, and that's
things.
okay. But we're going to focus on us and the teams that are in our sectional, and try to move on.
Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Yep.
Sorry it took so
Yep.
long
That's
to
okay.
get here.
That's okay. No problem. No problem.
Thank you so much to Coach Tolle for inviting me out to talk with her team, and of course to Kenzie, Analise, and Grace for joining me, and the entire Western High School girls golf team. And actually the athletic department's been fantastic too. Thank you so much to everyone at Western. And thank you for listening. Please do us a huge favor. We could really use some shares. Please share this podcast with anyone you think would be interested, and help spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. Thank you. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.